We are at the top of page 24, and today we are going to start going through the different types of electromagnetic waves, starting with gamma rays. Gamma rays are used to kill harmful bacteria, to keep food fresher for longer, and sterilize medical equipment. In high doses, gamma rays, X-rays, and UV and ultraviolet can kill normal cells. In lower doses, these three types of electromagnetic waves can cause normal cells to become cancerous. If the dose is just right, gamma rays can be used to treat cancer without surgery because they kill cancer cells. Okay, so what we have here is a bit of a contrast. First, the notes are saying that gamma rays are used to kill harmful bacteria so that they don't infect us. And we use gamma rays to sterilize medical equipment to make sure that there are no infections if there is going to be an operation or surgery of any sort. And exactly afterwards, we're saying that in high doses, or even sometimes in lower doses, they can still be harmful. Now, as you remember, last time we said that the shorter the wavelength, the higher the energy. In fact, the shorter the wavelength and the higher the frequency, the more these gamma rays can pass through different objects. Now, in this case, gamma rays being the waves with the smallest wavelength, they can pass through our bodies very easily. Now, the thing is this, if you are exposed to high doses of X-rays, this can affect your whole body. Now, the problem that happens is this. As you might know, our bodies are made up of organs which are made up of cells. Cells are basically the building blocks of our bodies. Okay, so this is an image of a cell. Now, I know we're not studying biology, but just to help with the explanation over here. Okay, now there are a lot of very technical terms going around, but what we want to focus on is this part in the middle, which is called, altogether these four are called the nucleus. Now, what is the nucleus? The nucleus is the sort of control panel of the cell. It is the nucleus that tells the cell how it should behave, how it should replicate. It has the information for the cell to know whether it's going to become a skin cell or a brain cell or a cell in the nervous system, etc. Now, the problem with these high energy waves is that if these cells are exposed to too much high energy waves, like gamma rays, this information that controls the cell gets mixed up. And then the cell will start replicating and multiplying very rapidly, very randomly, okay? And it starts to grow. This is basically what a tumor or a cancer is. That you would have a growth that should not be there, okay? Because a cell has mixed up its information, and instead of being, for example, a skin cell, it now has started replicating very rapidly and is not a skin cell anymore, but it is now a cancer cell. Now, too much gamma radiation will cause these cells to turn into cancer cells, which is why they are dangerous, which is why we said that they can cause normal cells to be cancerous. However, if we were to fire gamma rays specifically and aimed very precisely at a particular cancer in the body, then that cancer can weaken and it can be destroyed within the body. Okay, so this type of treatment would not require any surgery to remove the cancer. Okay, it is basically shooting controlled gamma rays at a particular location in the body, hopefully avoiding other important organs so that you wouldn't cause any damage over there. Okay? Now, we also mentioned that we use gamma rays to keep food fresher and to sterilize medical equipment. In the case of food, yes, food is sterilized with gamma rays. However, then the gamma rays will not stay there forever. After a certain amount of time, they will weaken so much that they will have no effect on us. So in the picture here we have, for example, fruit being sterilized, going from left to right. Now by the time these apples would be sterilized with gamma rays and packaged and shipped and arrived to where they are and arrived to where they had to get, and then bought by the consumer and eaten, all the dangerous gamma rays would have been long gone. Okay, so there are no dangers in eating food that has been sterilized with gamma rays. Okay, so gamma rays have both a beneficial aspect to them and they have also a detrimental, something that can be harmful to us. And incidentally, the beneficial aspect and the main negative aspect both have to do with cancer. This is one of the many treatments people suffering with cancer can be given. Okay, you might have heard of chemotherapy, which has nothing to do with gamma rays. Okay, gamma rays are something else. In Maltese, commonly they are referred to as raggi. Raggi is the Maltese word for rays. Now, similar to gamma rays, X-rays and ultraviolet rays can all have this effect on normal cells. They can all cause normal cells to become cancerous. However, gamma rays are the strongest at it. Now, linked in the assignment, there is a video that is from the mini-series produced by the studio HBO called Chernobyl. It regards the unfortunate disaster that happened in 1986 where a nuclear power station, or at least part of a nuclear power station, caught fire. And it caused very widespread damage, so much so that its effects, the burning of this power station and the leakage of the radiation that happened in Chernobyl. Now, Chernobyl is a city in what is now the Ukraine, okay? Something that happened in the north of Ukraine. The effects from it were felt as far away as Sweden. So to get an idea, this is a picture of Europe, okay? With tiny Malta at the bottom and the rest of the European countries. There is only a small fraction of Russia showing, okay? Now, the Chernobyl power plant is at the northern area of what is now the Ukraine. And as I said, the effects and the radiation were felt as far away as Sweden. Now, Sweden is up here, okay? So that's very far away. And even Germany detected a bit, okay? So the effects of the meltdown of this power plant was felt hundreds of kilometers away. In this video, there is a very brief explanation of how a nuclear power station works. Okay, there are a couple of technical terms, however, it is not that difficult to follow. That would explain exactly how a nuclear power station works and how things are kept in balance to prevent any damage and any explosions or any fires. This will link to what we covered previously when we talked about renewable and non-renewable sources of energy, where we said that nuclear power stations, although they are generally safe, however, the one time that there is an accident, it can cause a lot of damage. Okay, let's move on to X-rays at the bottom of page 24. X-rays have so much energy and such a short wavelength that they can go right through you. Like we said, waves with very short wavelengths and very high frequencies can pass through a lot of objects. However, they cannot get through bone as easily as they can get through muscle and flesh. This is because your bones contain so much calcium. Your doctor uses them to look at your bones and your dentist to look at your teeth. X-rays can also be used to find other problems in your body. Okay, so what we have here is a very simple X-ray of a human left hand. We are seeing the background to be completely black, alright? Now, the darker the area, it means that the more X-rays have passed. Alright, so if we take the area over here, the sides, there was nothing to stop the X-rays, so the X-rays passed completely, which is why that part of the photograph is completely black. As we move inwards, the skin and the muscle slowed down the X-rays a bit, but not as much as the bones. Alright, as you can see, the bones are defined extremely clearly, while the skin and the muscle are only a bit of a shadow, sort of. Alright? We use X-rays so that we can look inside the body without having to operate, without having to conduct a surgery. Alright? Because even just doing a surgery has its own side effects. So taking just one snapshot, just one picture using X-rays can save your life, because you would know where exactly the problem is within the body and the best way to treat it, so that then if surgery is required, then you would only open that particular affected area and deal with it there and then. Most commonly, however, X-rays are used to detect problems or fractures or sprains in bones. However, like the notes have described, they are used to detect other problems within your body, not just problems relating to bones. This picture is also an X-ray of a human hand. This time it is a right hand, but this time the hand is grabbing a computer mouse. Okay, and you can see, now even though the human hand is grabbing the plastic cover of the mouse, but we can still see through the plastic and look at the components it is made up of. Okay, so we have the scroll wheel over here, the button mechanisms, and the remaining of the electronics required to make a mouse work. Okay, so it is not just used for bones. Like we said, X-rays can cause cancer. So radiographers, okay, a radiographer is the person that takes an X-ray. If you require an X-ray, it is not a doctor that takes the X-ray that you need, but a specialized person, a person that would study the whole field of X-rays, and to protect themselves, since it is their job, they would take, obviously, since it is their job, radiographers take multiple X-rays of people, of different people every day. But as we said, if X-rays can cause cancer, then they have to protect themselves. And the way they do this is by wearing LED aprons, and they stand behind a LED screen. Or sometimes they even leave the room to keep their exposure to X-rays to a minimum as much as possible. Ideally, in life, you take as few X-rays as possible, okay, to prevent that any cells are affected and any cancers caused, okay, as a regular person. However, obviously, as a radiographer, which means that your job depends on it, which means it is actually your job, it is even more important for them to protect themselves. So LED, chomp bil-Malti, LED can slow down X-rays quite a lot, if not 100%. Okay, so they wear LED aprons and they stand behind a LED screen. So having two layers of protection from these X-rays. To be even safer, sometimes they even leave the room, okay, and have the X-ray machine controlled from another room so that they don't even come in contact. Another place X-rays are used is in airports. As you might have experienced, whenever you are going to board a plane, you have to pass your bags through an X-ray machine, okay, that scans the luggages so that they make sure you don't have any dangerous items. And we use this, since X-rays can pass through objects, then we can see through the bags without having to open each bag one by one, so it makes life simpler. What we're seeing here is an example of the images that airport security officers would be seeing through this X-ray machine, okay, and how they would be seeing through your luggage. And as we can see, things that are made out of cotton or normal cloth, X-rays can pass very easily through them, even plastic. Okay, so the wheels and the supports at the bottom and the clothes, which are roughly everywhere but are in orange, they don't really pose a difficulty to the X-rays and they pass through them very easily, so that is why they are only orange. However, metal bits, like the mechanism for the luggage, for example, for the holder, okay, those will stop the X-rays. Here we have parts of a laptop, or parts of an electronic device, metal glasses, alright, wires. These will all stop the X-ray from passing, and they can see it through the machine, and this is where they would advise you to open the luggage and then investigate or call the police or whatever would be necessary. To be fair, sometimes airport security choose people at random so that they maintain security. So just because they tell you to open your luggage, maybe if that happens to you in the future, doesn't mean that they have found something that they shouldn't have, so don't be alarmed.